and the role of the central bank in our economic situation now. So maybe let's begin with that aspect of the minorities' concern that has led to a petition to the Attorney General for Yoko, OSP, and all of them to look into this issue about the Bawa Rock company. What is the Bawa Rock from where you sit as the Chief Executive of GoldBod?
Thank you very much, Samson. Bawa Rock Company Limited is a company incorporated under the laws of Ghana. It was incorporated specifically, I believe, on the 15th of January, 2015. 14th or 15th of January, 2015. So it's a 2015 incorporated company.
Okay, so I confirm that we have seen that incorporation certificate and certificate to commence business. And as we do the show, we'll be showing you some of these pieces of evidence because we have them.
And in fact, I have, when I'm done answering this question, I'll give you all the evidence to the answers I provide. So first of all, it's a company incorporated under the laws of this country in the year 2015, meaning that it's been in existence. Is dealing in precious minerals, among others. So when you hear people say that, oh, this company has nothing to do with gold trading, it was not registered for that purpose, it is not true. And I'll give you the evidence for you to know that, yes, it is registered to carry out a number of activities from mining to farming to dealing in general goods. But one key principal activity of the company is dealing in precious minerals. Now, this company is also not a mushroom company that just, surfaced in the gold trading space. As a matter of fact, it was licensed by the Precious Minerals Marketing Company to deal in gold in the year 2016. 2016.
The predecessor of the GoldBod.
Yes. And since 2016, the company has renewed its gold trading license every year until 2025. Every single year, the company has renewed its gold trading license. Now, this company we call Bawa Rock has been one of the major gold suppliers in the country. In fact, they were one of the major gold suppliers to aggregators under MIFS. When I say MIF, I'm talking about the Minerals Income Investment Fund established by the MPP. The MIFS Gold for Reserve program in the year 2024 when the MPP was in power. And I'm going to give you evidence to that. So now let's go to the evidence. These are the company's registration or incorporation documents showing that it was first incorporated on 14th January 2015. As I'm saying, all these copies I'll leave with you. Okay. I've also given soft copies to your producers. They can project it. Again, the company updated its incorporation on the 20th of November 2023,
right,
and became Bawa Rock Company Limited. It was initially Bawa Rock Limited. The certificate is also here. This was 2023. Then these are the articles of incorporation of the company showing that its principal activity is what? Number 1, mining. Number 2, farming. Number 3, construction. Number 4, trading in general goods. Number 5, dealers in precious minerals. Number 6, oil and gas. Number 7, import and export of general goods. So that is the evidence.
Why is it necessary to be exhibiting their incorporation documents to show that they were incorporated on 14th of January 2015?
Yeah, because some have suggested that Sammy Gyamfi just went to GoldBod as CEO and decided to appoint a sole buyer of all the gold that GoldBod has been.
This is the quickest way to go from AI beginner to AI fluent in 2026. Watch this.
So this is how I became
company that was incorporated only in 2025. The NPP has been making that claim. And that company is even a company registered for the purpose of farming and fishing. It has nothing to do with gold trading. So we need to educate Ghanaians accordingly. No, hold on. No, please. This is one-on-one. Hold on. So it's not your time yet. Now, number two, let me give you the evidence. This is the first PMMC license given to the company dated 10th March 2016, expired on 9th March 2017.
A year after its incorporation.
A year after its incorporation.
It got a license from the PMMC.
To deal in gold.
Okay.
A few licenses to show that they were renewing and very active from 2015 when they were incorporated to 2025. This is dated 14th February 2020, another license from the PMMC. This is another license from the PMMC dated 19th October 2023, and there are many others. Again, let me give you evidence of gold trading work, significant gold trading work done by this company. Now, I told you that the NPP under MIF rolled out a Gold for Reserve program in 2024 on the instructions of the then Vice President Alhaji Bawumia. The main aggregator, one of the main aggregators for MIF was a company called Gold Refinery Limited.
Right.
One of the people who were the main suppliers of gold to this aggregator is Bawa Rock. And I'm giving you evidence. This is a letter from Gold addressed to the manager of Fidelity Bank. I've given your producers a soft copy, which is redacted because this one has the bank details of the company. Right. So they can project that. And as you can see on the screen already, it says transfer Gold Refinery Limited. This was a transfer instruction of 40 million cedis to Bawa Rock under the NPP to buy gold. And there are many of these letters. Number two, in the year 2017, the main gold buyer in Ghana, one of the biggest gold buyers in Ghana, was a company called AA Minerals. If you are you're well versed in gold trading issues in country, you would have heard of the name AA Minerals. There's a certificate issued by AA Minerals to Bawa Rock dated 3rd August 2017 as what? The buying agent, 2017 when the NPP was in power. Now you also know of the biggest refinery, gold refinery in the whole of West Africa called Gold Coast Refinery. This is an invoice from a wire transfer from Gold Coast Refinery to Bawa Rock dated November 22, 2018 for Bawa Rock to buy gold for them. These are records of gold purchased by Bawa Rock for Gold Coast Refinery as at March 2018. These are all the records. And you can go to Gold Coast Refinery.
Okay, so he's just showing us now a tall list of as in purchases or the gold Bawa Rock's involvement
in the gold trading. So number one, it is not a 2025 registered company. It is a 2015 registered company. Number two, it is not solely a farming and fishing company. It also deals in the precious minerals, and I've shown you that. Number three, it has a solid track record in gold trading, acknowledged by Gold Coast Refinery, aggregators under government's Gold for Reserves program and so on. And I've shown you his activeness even under the XY regime.
Right.
Now, Samson, I think the next question people will be asking after this. The
thing also is about why it is the sole gold buyer for the GoldBod.
Yeah. That is also another misconception. You know, a lot of people do not understand how GoldBod's trading model works. Samson, GoldBod has a 4-tier license buying system. 4-tier. The first is the tier 1 buyer. The second is tier 2 buyer. The third is the self-financing aggregator. And the fourth is the aggregator. All these licensed buyers buy gold for the GoldBod. So not only the aggregator buys gold, the self-financing aggregator buys gold. The difference between the self-financing aggregator and the aggregator is that the self-financing aggregator uses his own funds to buy gold for GoldBod, while the aggregator is funded by the GoldBod to buy gold primarily. Okay? Tell them I've not got into these tables yet, so they should wait. Let's go systematically. Now,
no, it's not being shown. It's only
okay. Then the third, the tier 1 buyer is a grassroots buyer who is licensed by the GoldBod to buy gold from licensed small-scale miners. The tier 2 buyer is licensed by the GoldBod to buy gold from both the licensed miner and the tier 1 buyer. So they are all good buyers. In the year 2025, the first year of operation of the GoldBod, we issued 900 buying licenses. 900. Under our tier 1 license, we issued 269 licenses to qualified applicants. Qualified applicants underlined. Under the tier 2 license, we issued 578 licenses to qualified applicants. Qualified applicants underlined. Under the self-financing aggregator, who are also aggregators, just that they are using their own money to aggregate gold for us, we issued 52 licenses to qualified applicants. Qualified applicants underlined.
Is that where Bawa Rock belongs?
No, Bawa Rock is the aggregator. Under the aggregator category, we issued 1. There were 31 applications for aggregator license in the year 2025. Only Bawa Rock met the eligibility criteria for the aggregator license in 2025. That is why Bawa Rock is the only person as at now to have been licensed as an aggregator of the GoldBod. But that license application and approval process that the board of GoldBod, the governing board of GoldBod does, not Sammy Gyamfi as CEO. Sammy Gyamfi as CEO and management only recommends. The board grants approval for aggregator license. That process is an ongoing process. It has not terminated. So today we can have 1 aggregator. Tomorrow we may have 0 because we can even revoke his license or suspend his license. Tomorrow we can have 10 because 10 people can meet our eligibility criteria. So people say, Bawa is the only one buying gold. They don't understand. They lack information. We have 900 licensed buyers, all of whom buy gold. Then they say, why is he only the aggregator? He's the only aggregator because he's the only one who has met the eligibility criteria. Let me tell you something. When we say an aggregator, what do people understand by that? There is no license in Ghana that enjoys the benefits of an aggregator license. Some say, have you heard of somebody going for a license in any institution, and after he gets the license, the state gives that person money in the billions to buy gold for the state? If you go for a BDC license, you are going to do your oil business with your own LCs and your own credit lines. Absolutely. Same for an OMC license. Okay? But when you say somebody is an aggregator, it means that he's entitled to receive state funds to buy gold. And therefore, there is a strict set of governance, legal, operational, and financial requirements he must meet as a risk mitigation measure. He must have minimum 3 years experience in gold trading. He must have minimum 3 financial statements preceding his application. He must have at least 3 buying offices in the country. He must have at least a bullion van and so on. But the most important requirement is this. He must present to the GoldBod a bank guarantee or an advance payment guarantee from a recognized financial institution that accords with the insurance policy of the GoldBod to secure the capital support he seeks from the GoldBod. You understand? We are not some zombie sitting at GoldBod where any Tom, Dick, and Harry comes and says, I want an aggregator license that will entitle me to use taxpayers' money to buy gold. And you say, I've given you a license. We are not sharing
and of 30,
aggregator license like you share
of 31 applicants. Bawa Rock is only one. That
and I'm saying it on Newsfile today. Yes, I'm saying he has given us an advance payment guarantee covering a trade capital support of 2 billion cedis. 2 billion cedis. And that is why the board approved the application. If some people had done that when they had the opportunity to do gold trading in this country, they will not be chasing the aggregators today for causing financial losses to the states.
That's actually true.
Look, we are ready and happy to work with anybody who meets our eligibility criteria for aggregator license.
So the other 30 or 29 that did not qualify, what were the incidents that disqualified them?
The main critical thing is the guarantee. And I'm here, Kojo Oponkroma, you have addressed a press conference. I'm challenging you. If you can give me one company who has applied for a GoldBod aggregator license, met all the requirements, especially gave us a guarantee from a bank or an insurance company, and we refuse his application, put it out today. I'm challenging them. They don't have. And let me tell you something that people don't know. You see, the president was gracious enough to send me to PMMC on the 22nd of January this year. By the 3rd of February...
Last year,
sorry. By the 3rd of February, I began to continue, if I can put it that way, PMMC's gold trading arrangement with the BOG. Now, between February and June 2025, even though the GoldBod was established on the 2nd of April this year, we had not, ushered in our licensing regime until the 21st of June. So we were still under the PMMC license regime from April, May to 21st of June. Now, if you add that to the PMMC era, February and March, you're talking about a period of about 4 or 5 months. During that period, the PMMC, under Sammy Gyamfi's leadership, had 3 aggregators. 3 aggregators. That time, we are not ushered in this licensing regime with a requirement of a guarantee and all that. 3.
Yeah, a board.
I didn't even have a board by that time.
Who are these aggregators? Because questions are being raised about particular persons who have been, or companies who have been exempted when they may have, qualified to enjoy some of this.
Now, we had 3. These 3 aggregators, 2 of them engage in, I'll call, to put it mildly, regulatory infractions. And so they were suspended in June of 2025. Their suspension has since been lifted. And so they have now applied for aggregator licenses, but they've not been able to give us the bond, the guarantee that has to secure whatever money we have to give them. But you must understand that, you see, every week we buy gold to the tune of over 3, 4, 5 billion cedis. And this transaction is mainly cash. It's not a joke. So you cannot take taxpayers' money and give it to anybody without the necessary risk mitigation measures. You understand? They've not met that. We've lifted the suspension, so they have applied for Tier 2 buying licenses. And we have granted them Tier 2 buying licenses. I'm talking about the 2.
Okay.
So as we speak, they are Tier 2 licenses. But let me go to the next issue. And that will be my final point on this Bawa Rock matter, so that we put the issues to rest.
Right.
Somebody says that, so is it only Bawa Rock who is funded by the GoldBod to buy gold? No. That is not, it's not only Bawa Rock. This is how the system works, Samson. The aggregator received direct funding from the GoldBod. And we have secured our risk by taking our guarantee. The insurance company has also taken from him a counter indemnity, which means that if you toy with this money and you lose this money, yes, we will pay to GoldBod, but we will pursue you for the money. You understand what I get it? So we give the money to that aggregator. Then that aggregator, at his own risk, or at its own risk, now looks for licensed Tier 2 buyers of the GoldBod. He is not allowed to finance or to fund a Tier 1 buyer, because a Tier 1 buyer doesn't even have a buying office. But a Tier 2 buyer is well structured, has an office. So the GoldBod contract with him says you can fund Tier 2 buyers that you find credible at your own risk. So Bawa Rock has 53 Tier 2 buyers.
Licensed by the GoldBod.
Licensed by the GoldBod that he funds on a daily basis. Because when you give him the money, he must give the money to other licensees to go and buy gold. That is GoldBod money. These 53 Tier 2 licensees also have other Tier 2 licensees and Tier 1 licensees that they also give the money to supply them. That is how money trickles down in a de-risked manner.
Okay.
So Bawa Rock is not the only person funded by the GoldBod. All the license buyers get GoldBod funds, but through Bawa Rock. If we have 3 aggregators, it will be 2 odd aggregators. And the 2 aggregators, sometimes you hear people say that, GoldBod has given Bawa Rock $10 billion to buy gold and all that. Let me prove to you the quantities that the 2 aggregators that we had to suspend, they bought within the 4 months we worked with them. One of them bought gold, supplied us gold worth 13 billion cedis. The other supplied us gold worth 11.8 billion cedis. You understand? So, and this is money we gave them.
That's cumulatively over a period.
Over a period of 4 or 5 months. So this, I believe, answers all the questions on the Bawa Rock issue. And if anybody still has questions, we welcome that. We are not averse to criticism. What we don't accept are people who go out there to engage in play jandam. If you do that, we will expose you.
If you are just joining us on Newsfile this morning, those of you who woke up to Newsfile at 9 a.m., we started at 8 a.m. Because we wanted to have sufficient time to deal with a number of issues. And our guest, Bryce Simmons, Dr. Kabiru Tia, Senyor Hosi, have been here giving their views of how the economy has performed, the things that have happened or governance within the 1 year of the John Mahama administration. And then Sammy Gyamfi joined us and has begun the discussion on the matter of the 214 million US dollars loss occasioned as a result of the domestic gold purchase program, which the GoldBod is doing with the Bank of Ghana, and which they have told us that it's money that is lost, and we, the taxpayers, are going to be saddled with it. And that is money that could build 12 Agenda 111 hospitals, according to Kujapon Nkrumah, who led the press conference. Now, they raised a critical issue of rent-seeking corruption conduct involving the one single company that was buying gold for the GoldBod. That is Bawa Rock. They said that was the only company involved in the gold purchase program for the GoldBod, Bawa Rock. It's explained that they've issued hundreds of licenses, 900 for one tier.
No, in total.
In total,
all the
cumulatively.
And if you
so
go
there
on
are
our
4
website,
tiers of the licenses.
If you go on our website and you
Christmas is here, I can feel it everywhere. There's love in
we are not waiting.
of the GoldBod.
Right. And the claim that was made, particularly by the opposition and including on social media, that the Bawa Rock company was incorporated in 2025 for this particular purpose, rent-seeking conduct. He's brought the incorporation document. We have seen it. We've shown you on our television. It was incorporated on the 14th of January 2015 and not 2025. And over the years, it has worked with the PMMC. This was the first license it procured from the issued by the PMMC. The license that just went past that you saw, that was the first license given to it by the PMMC in 2016. So what he's sought to do in the Bawa Rock matter is to sort of bust all the myths, all the misinformation or disinformation that's been put out there. And the fact that Bawa Rock within a particular tier as an aggregator is the only one that qualified because of all the criteria they have to meet. It was the one that met the guarantee required, financial guarantee required, in excess of 2 billion Ghana cedis to be able to receive that license to work. So now let's progress.
But before just one second, just one second. I learned this very important. Bawa Rock is also registered in Liberia and licensed to trade gold in Liberia. And this is his 2018 gold trading license from Liberia. Kabiru can have a look. So
Okay.
I just wanted to put
So,
that.
as you may know, before we go to the IMF loss, IMF caution of the risk, there is a petition against unlawful involvement of unlicensed and investigated persons in GoldBod Ghana operations. This is a petition from the Kandifo Institute, and it is taken to the Office of the Attorney General. And as I can see, it is attention to the Office of the Special Prosecutor, the Economic and Organized Crime Office, and among others, they are saying that they don't understand why Mr. Sledge, who is linked to investigations into the alleged squandering of approximately $90 million of the MIF gold for
Reserves.
yes, G4F.
Yeah, that's good
funds,
for well.
right, has been blocked. He's not allowed to participate in the process. Meanwhile, there is this Mr. Roger Frimpong Kwachi in the GoldBod operations, who also, has a connection with this kind of investigations by the OSP. If you appreciate what I just mentioned, and you have seen this,
I've seen it.
what's your explanation?
We see these things, but we don't respond because we are very busy people doing an important job for the nation. We don't have to. It's a joke. Listen, Roger Kwache is not licensed by the GoldBod to do anything. He's not a licensee of the GoldBod. Roger Kwache only consults for Bawa Rock. He works with Bawa Rock. Now, this Roger Kwache is managing director for a company called Goldstrom. And Goldstrom was one of the aggregators under MIF's Gold for Reserve program. They were giving money. By the end of 2024, MIF wrote a demand letter to them that they had some outstanding payments to make. The company has paid MIF in full. And I've seen acknowledgement letters from MIF showing that Goldstrom has paid. Now, that one employee of the company is consulting for Bawa Rock, and that is an issue. A company that has not committed a crime, a company that is not under investigation, is not being prosecuted, has settled all its bills to MIF, and you're saying that its employee cannot work for a private company. So it is not as if Roger Kwachi even works for the GoldBod or is licensed by the GoldBod. He has done nothing. That guy is a great resource. When you want to talk to somebody about gold trading in Ghana, he's one of the go-to persons. And I think that people should just stop this attitude of running people down with lies. It doesn't help anybody.
Okay, interesting. Senor, hold on, because this particular group, the Kandifo Institute, which is led by Palgrave Boachi Dankwa, who's the founding leader and former government spokesperson on governance and security under the Akufo-Addo regime, have also a statement against your sort of praise and your assessment of the IMF's, concerns about the trading losses. So, have you incurred a loss?
When you say have you, are you talking about GoldBod or what?
$14 million dollars.
Are you talking about GoldBod?
Well, we are told that you are cooking your account, so you pass it off to the Bank of Ghana.
So 2 questions. Let's start with one. Has GoldBod made a loss? Emphatically, no. The GoldBod, even though it is not a profit-making, public operation, has not made any losses. The GoldBod, for the year 2025, generated revenue to the tune of 960 million cedis, a little over that. Our expenditure for the year 2025 stands below 120 million. These are all unaudited figures. So if you look at our management accounts, we are on our way to declaring income surplus. GoldBod does not declare profits, it declares surplus. There's a big difference between profit-making institutions and surplus-making institutions. Now, it's very clear that we will be declaring a surplus of nothing less than 700, 800 million, to put it very conservatively. The law that established the GoldBod, the Ghana GoldBod Act, specifically under Section 42, requires us to publish all our quarterly financial reports on our website. We have done so.
Right.
And if you check that, you will see that everything I'm telling you is
We have seen
factual.
it, yeah.
And by the end of first quarter 2026, that is by March this year, the Auditor General would have completed his external audit of our accounts. And we will publish all our financials for everybody to see that GoldBod has not made losses. And when you hear people talking about GoldBod losses, maybe they are dreaming or they are hallucinating. That is what it is. We've not made any losses. These are imaginary.
You are buying in excess of 3 to 4 billion Ghana cedis of gold every day.
Yeah.
And you are taking money from the Bank of Ghana for this purpose.
Yeah.
And every week, you didn't say every
Every week.
Every week.
Yeah.
Every week, yeah. 3 to 4 billion
Yeah.
Ghana cedis, not dollars. Right. And you are saying you have made profit and you have not made a loss.
We made surplus.
But
because
we are told that what you are doing is that you are transferring the losses onto the books of the Bank of Ghana.
Thank you for that question. Thank you. The reason why we've not made losses as GoldBod is that every money Bank of Ghana has given us, we have accounted for it. We've given them the gold equivalent. And we have gotten paid. We've been paid our agent fees. That is why we've not made a loss. Now let's go to the claim. You see, when you catch them here, they move here. They say, oh, now it is not the GoldBod that is making a loss. The GoldBod rather is transferring its losses onto the books of the BOG. How can an institution which is not making a loss transfer losses it is not making? Does this make sense? How can we transfer losses we haven't made? What GoldBod has done this year, you see, a child must learn to crawl before it walks. And a child must learn to walk before it runs. We established on 2nd of April, but by law we took over the PMMC structure. And that PMMC structure is not fit for the purpose of the GoldBod mandate. So we needed to put in place the necessary institutional and operational framework that can deliver the GoldBod mandate, which means new departments, new units, new employees, new systems, new policies, and all that. So our supervising minister,
including police powers.
exactly, setting up your task force and all that. Because PMMC didn't have a task force, PMMC didn't have a risk unit, PMMC didn't have a trading department, and we have to put all that in place and employ workers. Then our minister, Tourist Forsen, says, you have 7 months to the end of the year. This is the time for you to learn how to crawl. So put in place these measures. But while at that, you can't be doing nothing. Continue PMMC's Gold for Reserve program with the Bank of Ghana because you inherited that agreement under the transitional provisions of the GoldBod Act as Section 76. So continue it. That is what we've been doing. So that program we have been running this year is a BOG program introduced by BOG in 2022. That program is funded by the Bank of Ghana. And that program has always sat in the books of the Bank of Ghana. In 2023, 2022, 2024, when the MPP was in power, G4R accounts did not sit in the books of PMMC or BOST. The accounts sat on the books of BOG, rightly so, because it's a BOG program funded by BOG. So where from this claim that it is GoldBod that has made an 8-month-old company now is responsible for the losses of BOG?
You talk about Atu Forsen says what you have done in 1 year or less than 1 year, it would have taken someone else 5 years to achieve.
It's refreshing when you hear your minister say such kind words about you. He's not always as kind as that, you know. He's always very hard on people like me when he needs his numbers. So this was a very good New Year message for me, but that's fine. But the key point I'm making here is that the G4R program was introduced in 2022 by the BOG. It is funded by them. It is their program, and therefore it sits in their books. Now, that program is a non-profit monetary policy initiative. A non-profit monetary policy initiative introduced by the Bank of Ghana to help them achieve their primary mandate of price stability. That program, any loss under it, is not attributable to an 8-month-old GoldBod, neither is it attributable to mismanagement or incompetence by the BOG. Because when you say that GoldBod has not made the laws, they say, oh, Sammy Gyamfi is saying it wasn't me, but it is BOG. Dr. Siama is a hero. And I'm going to explain that to you. He and that wonderful team at BOG. They have not, through mismanagement or incompetence, caused any loss. Any reported loss under G4R, if any, is a product of policy design. That is how the policy was designed to come to incur intentional and strategic expenses for superior economic benefits. So we are not saying we have not made a loss, but somebody has made a loss through mismanagement. No, that is the policy design. And it is so sad that those under whom the policy was introduced are now feigning ignorance about the policy objects and the policy design.
Earlier in April of 2024, was it 2025, you were heard to have made, criticism of the PMMC for buying the gold at what you call spot price for the gold for reserves. And then selling to make loss. Meanwhile, you're doing the same thing.
Okay. You must understand, when I was speaking about the need for us to achieve some consensus, some agreement with miners, for us to be able to buy gold within a certain discount threshold, I was talking about the GoldBod model. I was saying that for GoldBod to avoid losses, the GoldBod will have to engage these miners for them to agree to some minimal acceptable discount. Under G4R, that is not the policy design and the policy rationale. First of all, let's ask ourselves, why was G4R introduced? Once you understand that, you will understand the point I'm making. The Bank of Ghana, Samson, did not wake up one day and said that, look, we want to make profit so we are going into gold for reserves. That was not the policy rationale. Over the years, Ghana has accumulated reserves mainly from the export earnings of commodities like cocoa, oil, and gold, and other export earnings. That has not been enough. So governments have resorted to borrowing to shore up reserves. Because without your reserves, your currency is dead. And without a stable currency, you don't have a country. You don't have an economy. So governments have had to resort to borrowing. Now, when NPP came into power, that reached a crescendo. Of course, they abused it. And every year, averagely, they were borrowing from the Eurobond market about 2 to 3 billion US dollars. So by 2022, the results were staring us in the face. Debt default, marked by hyperinflation of 54%, currency depreciation of more than 50% by November 2022. And we being locked out of the capital market. So we could not borrow for dollars again. So there was so much pressure on the currency, and the currency was depreciated. It hit 17 cedis at some point in 2022.
Upgraded to junk status.
Yes, because there was no supply of FX to meet demand. So the Bank of Ghana said, okay, now we can't borrow for dollars again. And you see, when you borrow for dollars, the effect is palliative, temporal, because you have to repay the debt. And when you are repaying, you have to pay it in dollars. You have to go and find dollars to repay. So the Bank of Ghana said, okay, we will use cedis to buy our gold in Ghana. And we will sell the gold on a weekly basis, T+4, for dollars, and give the dollars to the market. So the purpose of the program has always been foreign exchange accumulation to meet market FX needs and to build reserves. For what purpose? For the purpose of national economic stability. The purpose is not for the central bank to be trading gold like a licensed buyer of the GoldBod trades gold, buying at discounts and margins to make profits. That was not the purpose. So when the Bank of Ghana started this, they didn't have any GoldBod in the picture. The market was dominated by foreigners. And these foreigners were not repatriating FX inflows back to Ghana. They were bringing dollars through the Abochi man, through what is called Hawala. So it was not impacting the finance sector, the financial sector. So And these people buy gold from 1957 till now. Gold is bought in the market at, say, 1% to 2% discount. But the exchange rate is always market rate, the informal retail rate. So Bank of Ghana says, I need a strategy to get the gold instead of these foreigners. So Bank of Ghana, through the Minister for Lands, Samuel Abujinapo, and I can give you the statement, announced to gold traders that henceforth, buy gold, but you can't export. Sell the gold to PMMC for and on behalf of BOG. And that BOG will buy the gold at spot price. That was the incentive to encourage people to give their gold to the state so that we can get the much needed forex. Now that obviously creates cost for the BOG, and the BOG knows that. And that is why I said the associated cost, what somebody will call loss, is an intentional and strategic expense for superior economic benefits. They know that this will be the cost of buying as spot, because we are buying as spot, offtake discount that BOG has to give to offtakers is cost. Fees it has to pay to its aggregators like GoldBod is cost.
I learned that ChatGPT works best with detailed prompts, but I hate typing them. So instead, I dictate them using...
They know that they will attain cost, but they know that the benefits of getting the much needed FX will be far superior. That is it. And that is why, Samson, it has never been an issue for the BOG incurring cost under G4R.
So what you are telling us is that you're practically justifying, the program despite its downside costs.
Exactly.
For as long as it props up the economy the way it has done in the last, year, we are good. So when the IMF was speaking...
And on the point of spot price, just one second. You see, Ghana, a lot of time, we must learn from experience. Let your producers, they can put on the screen the table I gave them of good ASM gold exports, small-scale gold exports from 2018 to 2025. You see something very interesting. In 2021, the MPP introduced a 3% withholding tax on small-scale gold. Small-scale gold exports output declined sharply that year. Look at the table. Okay, I can see it here. It's not on the main screen. From 39.3 tons in 2020, worth $2 billion, it dropped to 3.4 tons. 3.4. The whole year 2021, Ghana got 3.4 tons. Single 3.4 tons from small-scale sector. Why? Because of a 3% discount in the form of withholding tax. And FX inflows reduced from $2 billion in 2020, COVID year, $2 billion, to $185 million. So learning from this experience, the Bank of Ghana does not pursue its own accounting profits. Because the Bank of Ghana is the banker of last resort, is the banker of government. It is mandated to achieve price stability and support government's economic policy. They are there to build reserves to ensure that your currency is strong. And when you achieve that, the benefits you get renders any accounting loss infinitesimal. And when we get there, I'm going to explain to you what those benefits are.
We need to get there as quickly as we can. And for those of you just joining, this is Newsfile. And I've got my other guests here, but the plan, the arrangement was that we will take sufficient time with some.
You said you give me 1 hour.
The CEO of the GoldBod, to allow him sufficient time to explain all the matters that have come up before we bring in our panelists to also ask him questions and bring their perspectives on this issue. So, is there any plan to eliminate or reduce this?
First of all, let's talk about the benefits.
Cost and losses.
I want to talk about the benefits. Then I will tell you when we say cost, G4R cost or loss, what it is.
Okay.
And I will tell you how it can be reduced
quickly.
or eliminated. Number one, let's assume we maintain that the Bank of Ghana is right. We must wait for the external audit before we can make any specific pronouncement on losses. It's important. Because any figure you throw out there may prove to be inaccurate after an audit is carried out.
The IMF did the wrong thing?
Oh, I think that. Well, because they did a thief review and they have to give some form of report, you can't blame them. But I think that they should have qualified that figure and stated that it is tentative and subject to audit. I think that should have been, objectively speaking, no disrespect, but I think that should have been the approach. But the issue, what are the benefits? Assume, let's even grant them, we've incurred that, and let's even grant Kojo Upon Kromes $300 million. That is the cost. What has been the benefits? $10.8 billion foreign exchange inflows. $10.8 billion. Because of that, we have met our foreign reserve target for 2028 in 2025, 3 clear years ahead of time. When MPP was signing on to the IMF program, they said they will attain $11 to $12 billion reserves in 2028. We have done that in 1 year. Because of that, for the first time in about 3 decades, the Ghana cedi has annually appreciated against its trading currencies. 40% appreciation in your adult life. When do you recall something like that happen?
I've been unsure if this is organic and this will stay.
Very organic. 40%. We have brought the retail dollar rate from about 16 cedis to now below 12 cedis. Interbank from about 15, 14.7 to now 10.4.
The Fitch prediction was that we would have gotten to
15.5.
15.5.
They are all shocked.
By the end of
even the IMF is shocked. And because of that, our external debt has reduced by over 100 billion cedis. External debt. That is why debt to GDP has moved from 726 billion cedis, constituting 61% of GDP as of December 2024, to now 620 billion cedis, constituting 45% of GDP. Debt servicing. Even before I talk about debt servicing, let's stay here. Lending rates, or even like the Ghana reference rate, which is the benchmark for lending, for loans, has reduced from 28% to 15.9%. Something, you understand? Inflation has declined for 11 consecutive months. 11 consecutive months. From 23.8% to 6.3%. Food inflation declined from 27.8% to 6.6%. And according to Agra, food prices have reduced by averagely 32%. If you look at debt servicing this year to last year, 2025, external debt, the Ministry of Finance had to service $3.6 billion, $1.8 billion to IPPs, and $1.8 billion to Eurobond, debts.
Actually, now,
about 3.6. You see,
2.5 billion rather.
That money, if we were servicing it at 16 to the dollar, which is what we took, or even assume that, because if we had not done this, the dollar would have crossed 25 cedis like Dennis Miracles Abuja just said. If we had not done what we did. And so it would have even been far more. But even if you peg it at 16, as compared to what we are doing now, we've saved over 16 billion cedis on debt servicing. This is real saving to the taxpayer.
Does this include the $709 million
yes.
that has just been
because
paid?
Because that $709 million,
by which the state has saved 3.5 billion Ghana cedis.
Because that $709 million, the finance minister would have had to convert cedis at a higher exchange rate than now.
Yes.
So that difference is what I'm telling you.
At least if we are using the Fitch,
yes,
we would have had to convert to 15.5. But today,
and the saving is still more than 10 billion.
Today it's at 10.1.
Exactly.
You might benchmark actually to budget.
Even benchmark it at 11, the saving is more than 10 billion cedis.
Okay.
Pick the import bill. As at September, $11.8 billion. If importers had to import $11.8 billion worth of goods at averagely 16 cedis to the dollar, and mind you, 16 is even conservative because without this program, dollar would have been 25.
It's going to be around 18 billion.
But you pick even the 11.8 at 16 as compared to 11, the saving is over 50 to 60 billion cedis to consumers. You understand? So this is not a joke. The impact has been a significant national economic gain. The cost is infinitesimal. But when we say cost, when we say losses, what are we talking about? Sometimes people think that Bank of Ghana has taken taxpayers' money, gone to buy gold, sold the gold, and we lost $240 million. Somebody has stolen money or somebody has mismanaged. That is not it. When we say G4R losses, let me explain to you. From 1957 to date, gold is bought in the gold market in Ghana at retail market exchange rate.
You said that already.
The euphemism for black market. Now, Bank of Ghana and GoldBod, we are buying gold from a non-bank market, which is a market made up of small-scale miners and gold dealers. And when we go, we have to buy the gold at that retail market exchange rate. GoldBod has sought to bring it to interbank. But anytime we peg the price to interbank, we realize that prices in neighboring countries like Cote d'Ivoire become higher than ours by, say, 600 cedis per pound. So all the gold goes to Cote d'Ivoire. And sometimes smugglers are offering prices at informal retail rates. So your interbank rate will not get you any gold. So when we buy the gold at the retail market exchange rates, and Bank of Ghana gets the dollar proceeds, the accountant and auditor comes to audit their books. The accountant must now convert the dollar inflow into cedis. The dollar is not really converted into cedis, but for accounting purposes, it must be converted into cedis because Bank of Ghana's books are in cedis. When the accountant is converted, the accountant says, my hands are tied. I know that the acquisition rate of the dollar is retail market exchange rate. But by law, because you are the central bank, I can only convert the dollars at interbank or BOG rates, which is always lower. So that creates an exchange rate translational difference because Bank of Ghana is acquiring dollars at retail market rates and converting at interbank for accounting purposes. That is 97% of the losses people are talking about. Then number two, let me tell you the second part of the loss. Bank of Ghana says, by policy design, I want to buy gold at spot to fend off smugglers and make sure that what happened in 2021 when gold output, export output declined from 39.3 tons to 3.4 tons, I don't have that situation on my hand. I need the dollars. Because of that, Bank of Ghana incurs about 2.3% cost. What does this cost? Offtake discount, which under MPP used to be 2.2, came down to 1.25 in late 2024, and now Governor Esiama has brought it to 1.1, the offtake discount. GoldBod fees, and of course, purity losses. Purity loss basically means that as a country, since time immemorial, we don't do the golden standard of assay to determine purity of gold. What we do is SRF, which is only indicative. But when the international buyer buys the gold, he must subject it to the golden standard of fire assay. That creates a purity difference, and that can cause a loss. That is what we are talking about here. So an accountant is right to pick that and say, from a pure, plain vanilla, accounting perspective, I mean, you've made an accounting loss. But it is, like I said, an intentional, strategic, economic policy cost for superior benefits. Now, is there any way to reduce it? Emphatically, yes. Because we are not throwing our hands in the space and say, oh, this is policy design. So at all times, we will incur costs. But first of all, let me even acknowledge that if what the MPP and the IMF are saying...
No, please. This was
what I was told. That I will be giving 1 hour for a one-on-one.
He's insisting on the 1 hour.
And I started at 8:50. I'm 7 minutes away from my 1 hour. So let me finish. I'll sit here and listen to you. Okay. So
the rest of the time, you guys...
It's for you, and we are closing at 12, senior. So
no, we have 3 other topics. That's the issue.
Okay.
Unless
there are not 3.
Only one
other, apart from this one.
Okay. I was told
what's the point I was really making? They've distorted my... I was saying, what to reduce? Yes. You see, under the G4R program, cost is the necessary evil for national economic stability. And the BOG is not a good trading organization, so it doesn't hedge. Okay, it doesn't engage in hedging and all that. So it is unable to take advantage of potential increases in world market price. But under the new GoldBod model, which we are rolling out in 2026, where GoldBod will be the buyer and also the seller, because currently we are not the seller. BOG is the seller. We are just their agents, and we are paid fees for that. Okay, we will be able to go into effective trading to be able to take advantage of potential increases in global prices. Aside that, the BOG is having a very important conversation with fiscal authorities. You're talking about the finance ministry. Now look, as central bank, we know that this is our role. This is our work. We need to do this. But let's have some burden sharing about the cost, because the cost is a necessary evil for the economic stability that we all need, which you, the fiscal authorities, even benefit more from. So can you absorb the cost in your budget? That conversation is going on. That has been the IMF's main concern. Look, people claim, sometimes create the impression that is very unfair to the IMF. They create the impression as though the IMF thinks that what we are doing is wrong. This is what the IMF said at paragraph 32 of their staff reports. They actually commended us. This is what they said. Very important. The BOG has significantly strengthened its reserve buffers. The scaling up of the domestic good purchase program has allowed the BOG to miss its program reserve accumulation objectives, reaching the 2028 reserve coverage target in 2025. This is IMF. But however, they come to paragraph 36 and says that the program poses risk to the financial sustainability of the BOG, because for the IMF, as a central bank, being the last bank of resort, they don't want this cost to negatively impact the books of the central bank. So they think that fiscal authorities must come in. And that conversation is ongoing. Of course, the Minister for Finance must also find a space for that in the budget. So that is all there is. But lastly, in concluding, I realize I have just 4 minutes. When you hear people talk, Kojo Oponkroma, somebody has made a loss of $240 million. He could have built 12 Agenda 11 hospitals.
Correct.
Then you ask them, how much losses did you make under that same program? How much? They can put that table too on the screen for viewers to see. I have given you, this is from the Bank of Ghana, all G4R losses since its inception. Am I equalizing to score political points? No. Am I comparing losses? No. I am exposing the duplicity and hypocrisy of a group of people who know that G4R is not for profit and yet are kicking the fuss about losses. People who themselves made more losses. So let's calculate how many hospitals their losses could have built. In 2022, they only bought 76 kg of gold. They made a loss of 74 million cedis. In 2023, they bought only 24.8 tons of gold. They made a loss of 2.1 billion cedis. In 2024, they bought only 45.3 tons of gold. They made a loss of 4.8 billion only last year. 4.8 billion. So, Kojo Oponkroma, tell us how many Agenda 111 hospitals your loss in 2024, which is 4.8 billion, could have built. 2025, we have bought higher volumes, 103 from 45, more than double. Look at the value, more than times 3, from $3.1 billion to $10.8 billion. And we are saying our loss will be determined, our cost will be determined after audit. But let's assume your $300 million is correct. That is $3 billion. Is that not a reduction despite higher volumes, despite higher prices? If you bought 103 tons like we have done, and brought in $10.8 billion, you would have made maybe times 10 the losses you posted last year. So please, we are saying that let's approach the discussion from a position of objectivity. What the Johnson Esiaman-led BOG has done, and I don't like to give myself plaudits, you understand? But what they have done is something worth commending. They have done what in 8 years? What somebody did in 8 years, they have done it in 1 year.
Yeah.
And everybody can feel the benefit. Taxpayers have been saved money.
Right.
Cost of living has come down.
Make it a habit. A 10-minute AI routine every morning. You'll be unrecognizable by Christmas. A
couple more questions will come up and you will have to answer them because my guest, almost everybody has a question for you. I also have a question.